Hello, good afternoon and welcome back to Grain Crease training videos around Australian remote environments. Right, I'd like to introduce you to underwater seal drains and my patient Cletus, who is a return patient from stage diving in the previous episode. Cletus was admitted to hospital and he's had a thoracostomy and a chest drain inserted. So what we have to watch here, the chest drain is hooked up to the Atrium Oasis 6000. So the Atrium Oasis is a unit that's an underwater seal drain. So it's quite it's a solid unit. It has a collection tube with a suction vent with an adjustable suction here and on the side here, because we can adjust the pressure amount of negative pressure and anti-crease suction. Nothing should move past that delta mark there. So this fluid would have been, 20 mils of that would have been pushed into this chamber here to give that level there. So as he breathes, the ball and this rises a little bit, just up to there. But if there's bubbles in the tube, then we've got to check for bubbles. However, we do have the water seals in this other tube with a collection of fluid that's been drained from his lungs in this area here. We have a port on the back that we can take a sample and we can send that off. But the most important thing, the unit can be taped to the floor, but it has to be kept below the patient's chest. So, are there problems? It's a great device for pneumothorax, post-treatment, of chest injuries, infections, where the drain is inserted with thoracostomy down there and drains off. Some people believe in just normal chest drains where coughing creates that negative pressure, but the atrium actually prevents any development of further pneumothorax by the underwater seals. So, what do we have to do to transport Cletus? Well, first of all, we get a handover from the staff. We get his observations, how they've been, collection of fluid over a period of time, any infections, communications with the receiving hospital, the equipment that is needed, and any alerts on the way. It's a coordinated effort. It's called the accept effort that they use in hospital transfer. We get a handover and we take that. Now, in saying that, we take the patient to the car, but before we get to the car, we should have a spare unit, just in case this unit falls over, becomes faulty, there's a crack in it, there's a leak, it tips over, even though we can tape it to the floor of the ambulance. But we don't have that. So we were given an ambulatory chest drain. This is our unit. If all problems go, then we hook this up. So it's a step-by-step procedure, very easy to do, and can be hooked up to the chest drain. So I'll show you that again. So, what we do monitor on the way, so we monitor his capnography, his respirations, we have a listen to his lungs, we watch his blood pressure, hooked up to a machine, and his ECG, his oxygen sats. We also maybe blood gas results that have been given to us, arterial blood gases as well. It's just interesting that we can keep a track of them. So obviously we've got capnography, and we do that, we document. We also document here what time we depart and how much fluid is in. So en route we can monitor Cletus, right? So it's got to be collect, as I said, below his level. So it's in loading, ambulance, unloading, keep it at that level. We don't want fluid to go back or creation of a pneumothorax developing into tensioner thorax, which can occur. However, complications of this device, that if we have a chest drain pulled out, or we have leakage or air bubbles in the tube, one thing we must do is before we leave the hospital is we have multiple tubes. So we need to label these tubes. See if they cross over. So we actually will write on them tubes, that's the urine bag, because sometimes we get confusion in so many tubes in the patient. So it's interesting that we have them taped down and we have them labelled. So these can be easily taped and written on with a marker. Okay. So we do that. So then we can identify that's the urine bag tube, that's the chest drain tube. May sound silly, but it's easy to do. Then we can identify what fluid's going where, which tube's what. So we've got to prepare that there's no kinks in the tube or any knots. So we look around the site. Now if the chest drain has pulled out, Then obviously we then put a three-way dressing over it with a valve flap that we can lift if something occurs. If the tube has had a problem, it's disconnected from a chest drain, then we will probably connect a Heimlich valve, right, which is a safety procedure, one-way valve, so to prevent. So if there's air bubbles in here, then we would track from the chest here, hold all the way down here, just briefly hold, and put the microport tape over there and identify where it is. If the unit needs replacing, then we replace with chest drain ambulatory unit. It just hooks up. So these is what we've got to monitor for. If it's kicked over, the fluid will spill into other chambers. Some say in some videos you can tilt it back up, best to replace it. Or use the chest drain tube, the Heimlich valve, sorry. So if we have to then decompress, then obviously with certain side of tension, we do that, we go for our procedure, decreased breath sounds, decreased air entry, decreased blood pressure, elevated JVPs, all these things we go through again. And we have our equipment here with the Russell pneumatics and also a Heimlich valve connecting tube and other dressings, or a 14 gauge angiocath. So we need to be prepared. During our route, we monitor the patient, we monitor the outflow here, we monitor capnography and the respirations. We listen to the lungs. On the lower portion of the lung field here, we may hear a little bit of a dullness in there. It could be the fluid accumulating there. We watch for any blood clots that have developed or blocked the tube. These are the things that we have to be very mindful of when transporting a patient. However, altitude is a problem. Most of these units cannot be used in aeromedicals. What they prefer, and as I've been informed, if someone would correct me or send me a correction by an email, that they use ambulatory chest drains. They are much better for aeromedicals than these are. But please email me and let me know if I'm wrong, or give me some information. That would be great. So we have to be careful of altitude because we could be coming from a base area up over high mountains down to a low area. So this here could be affected by a pneumothorax hiding in there, which may develop. These are things to be mindful of with altitude. So, most important thing, we've had a handover from the nurses and the doctor. We've got all the blood results, x-rays. We don't have ultrasound to check unless you've got special equipment like a Tempest Pro and ultrasound kit. We'll check where it is. We then have the receiving hospital notified. If we have problems on the way, we would then notify through our organisation the receiving hospital or the departing hospital this is what occurred. It's good to have contact with those people, they can give advice and things. So I'd like to leave it there, and thank you very much, and Cletus is on his way to be transported to the next hospital. Thank you.